Welcome back to Mindful Serenity Yoga with Nancy. And we're going to continue, or Waking Up in a Busy World, and we're going to continue with our answering of questions from the jar. And I said I probably only have about 15 questions left, and I have more to put in, but I'm trying to get to 50. Again, this is an exercise for my own learning more so than anything else, with the intention that hopefully it will benefit somebody to hear someone who knows nothing about nothing give an answer to something very profound. So anyway, whoa, I picked out a question, and it is a doozy of a question. I'm going to press the start button, take a deep breath, and the question is more of a request. Describe God. How can it get any harder for a question? Describe God. It's really hard to describe something that's completely indescribable. Indescribable, I don't know if that's a word, but inexplicable. How do you explain something that can't be explained in words and concepts and with our very limited understanding of things? Albert Einstein had a wonderful quote regarding this concept of God, and I don't think I can actually even begin to paraphrase it maybe, let alone quote it, but it had something to do with walking into a library and seeing stacks and stacks and stacks and books, on shelves lined up to the ceiling, just amazing books. Every book unique and so full of wisdom and creation and of all different languages, and knowing that you can never understand the languages in each of those books, but that there was one creator of all of them, one writer, one author that created all those amazing books that come in so many different genres and languages and types. And that's it, I guess. And he said it's like a child trying to understand that. The mind of a child that walks into such a library would never be able to understand the author of all those books. This just can't be explained with our limited human minds, what God is. I feel there is a God. I feel God within me. To some extent, every breath I take, when I'm meditating, when I'm still, when I'm quiet, when I'm looking at nature, when I'm observing the trees blowing in the wind or listening to the birds sing, especially in spring. When I watch life emerge from under the frozen earth again. When I see the leaves falling off in autumn onto the ground, knowing that those leaves will just be reabsorbed back into the ground. When I feel the sun on my face, I know there's a God. How do you describe that? The only word, if I can use a word, for that which cannot be named according to the Tao, would be everything. Everything at the same time, nothing. Because it's not a thing. It's no thing. I know I grew up with my own religiosity as a Roman Catholic. And, we were taught what God was. To some extent, it was something that had to be feared more than revered, I think. And it was a paternal figure. You could almost picture him with the beard and, so much like man. But that was just a concept and an ideation based on certain religiosity. I don't have any image of God in my head anymore. I can't put a gender to God. I can't put a form to God in my mind. I can't put a personality to God, neither vengeful or loving. I I shouldn't say it in that way, but I mean, I don't see the wrath of God like I was brought up to believe. I just see love, but not like as in a loving person, just love. So maybe that's another word I could say God is, and I still don't know. It's just my idea of it, is love. Everything, nothing, love. It's the source of all things. The mother of all things is what the Tao refers to it as. That which cannot be named. In Buddhism, they don't use the term God. They see this everything and nothing, this emptiness, this Shanta, this spaciousness, the backdrop of all that is in existence as God. It's something that has to be experienced more so than explained. And people have been trying to explain God for centuries. And in trying to do so, they've created so many distinctions and so many separations and so many belief systems, and have done a great deal of destruction based on those belief systems, when they were meaning to explain something that was just all-consuming love. We've created hate and fear. It is my intention in this lifetime not to get to my deathbed fearing God, but to leave the life I'm living right now knowing God. And I may never get to know Him before I die, but I know I will when I die. Him, see, I'm still using that Him, even though I have no gender. It's just this conditioning in my mind. It's hard to let go of that. That's been so ingrained into me as this paternal figure. But this God, this everything, this Brahman, this spacious awareness that permeates all of us. So it has to be in us. I don't even feel comfortable saying it. I don't know why I use the term he, I suppose, because it's comforting and familiar, but it doesn't sound right either. Because it implies it's a thing, a form. I don't know how to explain what God is. So when you ask me this question, describe God, it's almost to the point where I don't even know how to begin. I don't know if anybody can really. All I can do is say 3 words, and I think that they are applicable. That would be everything, nothing, and none. But I'm not sure if that answers your question or not, or describes God to you. And maybe the most important thing would be is for you to look inside yourself and see what God is for you. If we can get past our conditioning and our religiosities and the belief systems that define and distinguish and separate, we'd all find that whatever God is universal. You can't, what we're putting borders around and calling our belief, our idea of God, our religion, is not God. Those are just ideas based on what we want God to be. In order to truly understand God, we can't do it with the mind. Maybe we can do it with the heart. I don't know. But we can try by going inward and feeling what God might be. But if I had to use words, concepts, ideas, I would say everything, nothing, love. Well, that's my answer. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful day.